Dear viewers, welcome to Virtual Coffee with Jagadish in Parnika Tutorials YouTube channel. Today we have a beautiful guest called Kirtika who has 13 years experience in IT industry. She has worked in various IT industries like Infosys, TCS, JP Morgan and currently working in ADP as lead app developer. In her 13 years of experience, she went to several colleges for recruit freshers for IT companies. Today she is with us to share her knowledge experience. First of all, I want to say thanks to Kirtika from bottom of my heart to accept this invitation in her busy schedule.
It's a pleasure to be here with Parnika Tutorials. Jagdish, I truly appreciate your idea of connecting working professionals with students. This way, they get to know what's happening in the real corporate world.
Can my viewers know about your family background?
Parents both are settled in Vizag. My mom is working in HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, and my father worked in steel plant and he took retirement. We are two sisters. My elder sister is working as Java developer in Disneyland and settled with her family in Florida. I'm settled in New Jersey, United States, and I have two kids. Elder daughter is 6 years old, and 2.5 year naughty son. That's my family background.
Can my viewers know about your educational qualifications?
BTech Bachelor's of Technology in IT Information Technology from Gayatri Vidya Parishad College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam. But I don't want to die with bachelor's, so I have a plan of doing master's in future. Hope it works out.
I came to know that in your BTech final year, you got placement offer from Infosys and also TCS. Can I know the selection process?
We got campus interviews to our college. Our college is the third good college in Vizag. So after AU and Geetham, so we had many companies came to our college, and I got selected in TCS and Infosys. It's like two jobs only per one head. So uh, both the processes were almost same, but TCS has a written test, which is an online test, wherein you give answers and you submit them, and then a technical round and then a HR round. On Infosys, it's like the written test is aptitude and then technical round and a HR round.
I came to know that you have opted Infosys over TCS. Can I know the reason behind it?
It was first come, first serve. Infosys sent out the joining letter first. Back in 2008, it was decision. So I didn't want to take risks. And that's the primary reason. And the secondary reason is I heard, Infosys training has world-class amenities and Infosys give more importance to logical thinking. So I preferred Infosys. Pay was almost the same because both are recruiting as freshers. Negligible difference. So that's the reason I opted for Infosys.
Can you please explain the written test process of Infosys?
Basically, aptitude test, you will be asked different questions based on permutations and combinations, time and distance, probability. Like if you're preparing for GATE or GRE or CAT, you'll know all those questions beforehand and it will be easy to crack. So it's more of aptitude test. They think they scrutinize people for first round based on your logical thinking. So back in that time, which is 13 years back, I'm not sure if the same process, but it was around 15 to 20 questions and we were given 30-35 minutes.
Can you please elaborate the HR process?
In Infosys HR process, they will ask you generic questions like your strengths, your weakness, why should I hire you? Um, and but apart from the generic questions, they will also give you few scenarios and see how you react to it. Like when I was interviewed by a 60-year-old man, he was in the HR round and he asked me. I was the topper of my class, so he asked me, assuming you'll perform well. He asked me if you are made the team lead and the person who has more experience than you is in your team under you, and he's not cooperating with you because he knows you are less experienced, how would you react to it? So that was the question he asked, and if you're interested in my answer, then I told him that you need to do some buttering in HR, you know that, right? So quote with sweet words. So I told him that I'm very good at interpersonal skills, so I won't land into that situation because I build very good relationships with my peers. But if at all I land into it, I'll have a one-on-one discussion with him, ask him openly what's his problem, and request him to cooperate with me. If that's not working out, I'll take it to my manager. But hope it works out in the first round. That's what I told him. I think he was impressed, so I landed it into an offer.
You are too smart, and your answer is very impressive. After listening this answer, maybe the HR person would have given the offer in Infosys. Among TCS and Infosys selection process, which one is more challenging?
Technically, TCS will screw you well. They'll ask you many questions related to your Unix, then your data structures, then your C, C++, your Java questions. Technically, TCS will dwell you well, but logically thinking, Infosys will screw you well. So Infosys gives more importance to your logical thinking. They want to know, they believe that they can train you well. So they just want to know, are you ready to take the training? Do you have that capability? And how would you react in situations which are not favorable? So that's Infosys interview gives importance to that process, whereas TCS will see if you're good in your subject. So that if you hire you, will you start working from day one? So that's the difference I found. Just to add, I after my Infosys, after I worked for 3.5 years of Infosys, I moved into TCS. So I gave an interview with TCS also as a IT professional who has experience. So there also it was the same process. You will be asked more questions in technical with TCS. So if you are technically good, yeah, you can easily crack TCS. If you are logically good, you can crack Infosys. That's what I say.
Can you please explain the training process of Infosys?
Infosys training is a lifetime experience. Yeah, it's a world. It has world-class facilities. You'll have amphitheater, which will give movies in the weekends. You'll have great food courts, and you will have GEC. They call Global Education Center, wherein you can sit throughout the night and study. It's like you have everything, but you don't have time because their training is very vigorous. For CSC and IT, it's for 45 days, and for non-CSC and IT, it would be for 60 days. So they'll teach you, they'll divide you into groups. Like I fell into open systems group where they taught mainly Visual Basic. And my husband is also from Infosys. We met in Infosys only. So he fell into Java group. So he got trained in Java. So like that, they will divide you into different groups. Now that the technologies are emerging, they have different like data warehousing group, cloud computing group. They also image their groups. So you'll fall into one group and they'll train you in that group. You just like your college lecturers will come, they'll teach you, and you will have weekly assessments, monthly assessments, and one final exam, which will that final exam will decide you went through the training process, you are good to be posted or not. So it's like extending your college for one more month. You have to do study, and you have to pass those exams. But it's fun too. It's very very fun. You have cycles throughout the campus wherein you can go from your hotel room to your hostel room to your educational center. It's very fun. It's very memorable experience.
After listening your answer, I feel everyone should enjoy the training process in Infosys. Can I know in which technologies you have worked in Infosys?
As I told you, I was trained in Visual Basic. So they train you in one stream, assuming you land into a project in that stream. But unfortunately, that's not the case all the time. So I landed into a project where data warehousing was used. So my teammates only trained me in that. It was a brand new tool then, back in 2008. So it's a tool called Ab Initio. It's an ETL tool: extract, transform, and load. So it helps in extracting the data from different source systems, transforming it as per business rules, and loading into the data warehouse on which reporting happens. So we used ETL tool called Ab Initio and Unix, and some scheduling tools to handle the structured data.
After working in Infosys for several years, you have shifted to TCS. Can I know much about it?
I gave you the interview in TCS as a experienced professional. So you don't have a written test, then you just have a technical round and a HR. And obviously in the technical round, you will be asked questions based on your resume, because they hire you for a specific role, right? For example, Ab Initio developer or Informatica developer. So Java developer, they hire you for that particular role for that particular project. So they'll ask you questions in that technology, which you mentioned you have experience in your resume. So, and then a HR round, which will discuss your salary. So yeah, that's the TCS interview process.
In which technologies you have worked in TCS?
In the same technologies, but domain was different. In Infosys, I was working in insurance. In TCS, I worked for a bank. So it's like the same technology is being used, like data warehousing technology, but a new tool. So there are several ETL tools in the market, like Informatica, DataStage, Ab Initio. So in TCS, I worked in Informatica. It's the same tool for extracting, transforming, and load, and Unix is also used throughout.
You have mentioned several tools. Is there any open source tools to get an hands-on experience?
I think Informatica is an open source tool. You can download it onto your desktop and gets your hands dirty on it. But Ab Initio and DataStage, I think they are licensed. The license is a bit costly, and only corporates can afford that. So at least you will be given a trial version, and you can work on it for some days.
If someone wants to be good on those tools, what concept they should learn?
Data warehousing concepts you need to learn in Udemy or in YouTube. You can just say data warehousing concepts and data warehousing tools. There are many tutorials and YouTube videos out there teaching those tools in detail. You can take those courses.
After working in TCS, you have shifted to JP Morgan. Can I know much about it?
In JP Morgan Chase, I worked in United States as a contractor. In United States, you can work both as full-time or as contractor, just like in India. Is it's contractor, you will be paid per hour base. It's a full-time, you will have a package. So in JP Morgan Chase, I worked in US as a contractor. So I worked in the same technology, data warehousing. So my first three companies were in the same technology. In ADP, I moved to a different technology.
If I am right, JP Morgan is a product-based company, whereas Infosys and TCS are service-based companies. What is the difference you found in JP Morgan as compared to TCS and Infosys?
JP Morgan Chase is basically a bank. And as you said, Infosys and TCS are service-based companies. So they won't have in-house projects, right? Infosys and TCS. So they hire you, they put you in a client project. Say, for example, through Infosys, I worked for Aetna. Through Infosys, I worked for Capital One Bank, Bank of America through TCS. So if in service-based companies, you will have the service-based company will be the vendor, and you will have a client on top of it, and you will be assigned to work for client projects. Whereas in JP Morgan Chase, you work for their in-house projects. It has their in-house projects, and you work for its own products and services. Same with ADP, even ADP, a product-based company. So you work for ADP's in-house project. So you won't have someone called client who will bug you. It's like you work for your own team, and there will be output for your own team.
Which one is more challenging for you?
Getting into product-based companies is challenging. So getting into service-based companies is easy, and obviously work in service-based companies is challenging because you will have so many layers. You will have your Infosys manager questioning you. You will have your Capital One manager questioning you. So you will have reporting hierarchy will be different. For example, in TCS, I'll have a team lead. When I joined, I'll have a team lead. On top of it, TCS manager. On top of it, my client manager, my client team lead. So you'll have many people who will question you in service-based companies. So your work should be very hard. Whereas in product-based companies, getting into it is tough. Once you get into it, it's a cakewalk. You will just have one manager whom you need to report to, and when you have less levels, visibility is more, right? Manager will understand how well you perform very easily. So your ladder will be good in product-based companies.
In which technologies you have worked in JP Morgan?
In the same technology, in ETL, data warehousing, Informatica.
Currently, you are working in ADP. Can my viewers know about it?
After JP Morgan Chase, I moved to ADP as a full-time employee because I was thinking Trump came in. Why to take risk as a contractor? Let's get a full-time job. We never know when we will be kicked out of this country. So I moved to ADP as a full-time employee. Here I got a chance to shift my technology. It's not good, right, to stay in the same technology for so many years if it gets outdated. So I got an opportunity to shift my technology. Now I work in a very interesting area called AML, anti-money laundering. It's like for catching the bad guys who do illegal activities. I'll give you a more example. So if I'm a pub owner, okay, so I have my pub wherein I serve different dishes and drinks, which is completely legal in US. But apart from that, I'm doing drugs also in my pub. And if I convert my drugs and show it, if I convert my black money into white money, so if I convert the funds I get from drugs as funds I get from pub and show it as white money, I'm doing money laundering. So my project is all about catching those guys. So ADP will scan all the transactions for all the credit cards, and we have different rules. We have a tool called Actimize, which will catch those patterns, and we will report to our business, and they'll file a case with US Federal. So that's the project I work in.
These kind of projects are very much required in current generation.
That's true.
You have worked in various industries in India and currently you are working in USA. What is the difference you found in working culture?
Working culture, I basically say it all depends upon the project you fall into. Some projects in India are also easygoing, and some projects in US are also hardworking. It depends upon the project you fall into, but more or less, in India, it's like, work comes into your personal life. So even after you log off and go home, you keep getting work calls and you need to take them. But in US, it's like, especially if you're working under an American manager, or I should say non-Indian manager, it's like 9 to 5. You come, log in at 9, you do work at 5, and you log off. Until and unless it's an emergency, they won't bug you after your work hours. So you have that work-life balance in US. That's what I have seen. In India, it's like go at 9 a.m., come back at 9 p.m., stuck in the traffic. Even then, after that, you have to work. So it depends. And even in US, we work in weekends before the release. But in India, working in weekends, you have more responsibility. You have more onus on you in back in India than here. So that's the difference I found.
I completely agree with your statement. In the light mode, during this COVID pandemic, the traffic in India has reduced a lot.
Saves your commute time and it increases your productivity.
In last 13 years, you would have worked in several projects. Which one is more challenging for you?
So the challenging project I faced was when I was working in TCS. We used to work in a credit card application, wherein we used to get some file from source, okay, and we used to process that and load it into our table. So one day, what happened? The file was corrupted, and all the jobs failed in production. So because it's a very user facing application and very important application, we used to work we worked throughout day and night to fix that problem. Basically, it was not our problem, our source problem, but even then, once they sent the corrected file, we had to run all our jobs and make sure everyone is happy or not getting wrong credit card bills and all. So that was the challenge. That was in my initial years. So I was like, oh, some things like this happen. Not all days are good days.
You have worked in several technologies in last 13 years. Can you suggest few technologies that a student should learn for getting a job?
I would say get a good grip on your SQL, because query writing is needed in whatever role you land into, whatever project you land into. SQL and Java is evergreen, .NET is evergreen. Have a good grip on it. And Unix scripting, you need to know at least one scripting language. So I would say SQL, Java, .NET, and Unix. Get good grip on it, and when you go out, nowadays you would have heard of AWS, and try to get some basic knowledge on it, the cloud services. Then I think you will be good to go.
Nowadays, there are a lot of buzzwords like machine learning, AI, data science, IoT. Does the student should focus on only basics like C programming, Java, Python, operating system, theory of computation like that, or they should learn these technologies for getting a good job?
Nothing is rocket science, okay? Everyone can learn everything if you given some time. So basically, learn your basics, be strong in basics, because that will help you get into a job. And if you have time, if you are already done with your basics, and if you're sure enough that you are good at it, then you can deep dive into these new technologies. But the industry will teach you once you land into your project, your teammates, or they'll teach you the required thing that you need to know for that project. For getting a good job, have a good grip on your basics. And if time permits, yeah, learn the extra things.
As you have around 13 years of experience, maybe you would have went to few colleges to recruit the people. If any, can my viewers know about it?
Yeah, in TCS and ADP, I did recruit few people for junior positions. Some of them were in phone, some of them were in person.
During recruitment process, what qualities you expect from the candidate?
I'm the recruiter. I would see the candidate is self-confident, and I would see he has the enthuse to learn new things. Everyone can give you training and train you, but you need to have that quality of learning new things and adapting to changes. And also communication. In this world, I'm telling you, communication is very, very, very important. I have teammates, I have people in my team who are very technically strong, but who can't talk well, who can't present themselves well. And I also seen people who don't do much work, but they boost well. So both are equally important. Okay, do your work, present yourself. So both are equally important. So being technically strong is important. Have good grip of your subject and try to present yourself in a very good way. Have very good communication skills. So enthuse to learn new things, good having good grip on your subject, and communication wise you need to be good. That will help you, grow up the ladder in your career.
I came to know that few students tries to be emotional during technical and HR interviews by stating, I need this job very badly and my family is in very bad shape. If students tries to say these kind of statements, does HR team will believe them?
They believe it or not depends upon the person. It's secondary, but it's not suggested. Okay, so you don't need someone's pity. You need your job based on your talent. So never get into that emotional stream, even though it's true, even though you need that job, even though you're from a very poor background. Don't touch that nerve of emotional uh, thing, because you don't know how the other person takes it. It may backfire. So even though it's true, no, believe in your talent and just present yourself based on your talent.
I completely agree with you. Students should be confident and genuine during the interview. Can you please suggest the students how to prepare the resume?
Resume is very important. It's the first step for you when you apply for a job. The first step through which you can connect to the recruiter is the resume. So your resume should be basically, out of 100 resumes we get, 80 are thrown out, only 20 will be picked. So resume should be short, crisp, and it should highlight all your good things. If you have done any internships, if you have done any projects in internal projects in your college, or if you have done any certifications, highlight them. Highlight the things which will make you different, which the recruiter will, look into to pick your resume and not the other resume. Don't write very lengthy resumes. When I recruit people, if I get lengthy resumes, who will have time to read all those, right? They are very busy. So keep it short, crisp, and clear, and highlight that things which you think are your special things.
I completely agree with your statement. Usually, in any interview, the interviewer will ask the general question stating that, tell me about yourself. According to you, how the student should respond to this question?
Tell me about yourself is the first question people generally ask. Even I ask, to break the ice, because the person will be little nervous, right? In any interview, once you start speaking, you will get that confidence. The first 10-15 seconds you will be little nervous. So that question is basically asked to break that ice and, bring you to your comfort zone. So keep it simple, keep it short. The interviewer should not cut you when you're talking. So keep it simple. If you talk for 5 minutes about yourself, you lost half of the time in your interview. So keep it short. Give details about your educational background, and if you are qualified, if you have experience in work, give details about that, and a little brief summary about your family. That's it. You should not make give chance to interviewer to cut you. You have to be short and crisp there too.
Can my viewers know about your hobbies?
I have several hobbies. People have hobbies to recharge yourself and pump yourself. So I dance to keep up my sanity, to be fit, and I also do volunteering for various organizations, for different temples. And my dream was to become an anchor. Okay, when I got again, I got a chance in my intermediate college in my local cable TV to be a anchor. My dad didn't send me, so because I couldn't do that, so I used my free time to do anchoring and organize different events and host different events. So that's how I pump myself and be energetic.
I hope one day you will become a good anchor. Can I know about your future plans?
As I told you before, I want to do masters. My son is just 2.5. Once he grows a little big and give me some time, so I wanted to pursue my masters. And also, I'm in technology stream, so I would love to move to leadership management stream, wherein I can manage few small teams, big teams. So that's my future plan, and hope it works out.
I wish you should achieve these plans as early as possible, and you should start your own organization. Being a mother of two kids, how difficult is to manage the full-time job?
So see, everyone just have 24 hours. Some people say we don't have time, but I feel if it is important to you, you'll make time for it. So yeah, with two young kids, I get little less time to spend on the extracurricular things. But yeah, when they sleep, when they're taking their afternoon nap, I just manage in the weekends. My only suggestion is don't bring work into your personal life and don't bring your personal life into work. Keep them separate and balance them well.
I completely agree with you. Everyone should not bring professional life into the personal life. The people who tries to bring the professional life in personal life, they fail miserably in both professional and also in personal. I have asked several questions related to your family background, educational qualifications, and working experience in Infosys, TCS, JP Morgan, and ADP. I hope I have covered all the questions. If I missed anyone, can you please highlight them?
Suggest only one thing to the viewers, especially students who are watching this Parnika tutorials. So I came to US after working in India, right? And some people they come to US for higher studies and then land into a job. So if you have dreams of coming to United States and if your family can afford, I ask you to take the route of coming to US through masters, do your masters here. Because once you hold a master's degree, the package you land into will be different from people who come to US through a software company and then get a job here, then do shifts here, then shift their job here. So that difference will be always there if you're holding master's degree. So if your family can afford and if you have US in your dreams, to take that route. Okay, that's the only thing. So guys, especially students, please subscribe to Parnika tutorials, like it, follow it for more successful tips, and all the best for your future. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Kirtika. Whatever the interaction we have done in the last 20 to 30 minutes will be very useful for all the students. If anyone have any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Either me or Kirtika will answer your questions. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.